Hey guys, this is the Risky Roadz podcast. We're coming to you with the final preseason episode, and we thank you guys so much for listening. We hope to bring you even better content when we actually have content to cover in the games that we will be playing. Today on the pod, we'll be discussing Thursday night's exhibition game and looking towards Tuesday night's home opener. We will also be discussing just overall impressions of the team, what we think will be going on offense, defense, Dedoch Chan deciding to leave before he ever started, and some predictions for the season, as well as our new segment, the Husker Hoops Central Challenge segment, where we will be kind of informing you on how to make your predictions for that and what our predictions will be. We'll explain it later, all on the podcast today. Thanks so much, guys. Jake, talk a little bit about the exhibition game. We got Jake back with us for the season. He's going to be contributing a lot more since he will just be going to the games, telling us about it. So I could not make it to the exhibition game. I had a chemistry test, so sadly the university does not endorse going to basketball games over chemistry tests. So Jake, tell us a little bit about the game.
Yeah, it was fun to just watch the guys play again for the first game of the season. It definitely looked like a first game of the season for them, but it was still really fun to see them go out and play. The rotations were definitely not the normal rotations, and it was just getting through guys and playing as many people as possible, but you could definitely see who he was planning to play at for the majority of the year based on just like who was getting the most minutes and stuff.
Yeah, so who did you think kind of stood out in a bad way in that game?
I feel like everybody didn't really play that great. Obviously we wanted Roby to dominate, and if you look at his like numbers, he definitely did. He didn't like seem to be controlling everything, but I mean I think he played the best for Nebraska, just efficiency wise. And then everybody else looked just pretty normal.
Yeah, interesting to see. Like, basically, almost nobody nobody did get over 25 minutes. Thomas Allen had the most minutes. Not a great game. I guess he had 7 rebounds. That's nice. But, yeah, just getting everybody in there. I mean, literally everybody played.
Yeah, the only person that didn't make it in before the first half was...
Oh, really? In the first half?
Yeah, everybody made it in the first half except for...
Costello.
Yeah, Costello.
So, some of the players that we probably were kind of wondering about were question marks, and still are. What about Brady Hyman?
He looked really good, but it was kind of similar to like when he was playing in high school. He wasn't playing Big Ten bigs, or just even D1 bigs. It's kind of hard to tell, but he looked, on the offensive end, definitely he looked like he could score. He did have a shot that was pretty bad from the outside or deep. But, yeah, he looked dominant against their short, fat centers. But, it'll be interesting. It was good to see him get minutes, even though everybody did, but, like, they seemed to run the offense a bit through him, and he looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I think he could be a surprise. I think most people thought he wasn't going to play at all this year. I mean, just look at it. He had 9 points and 8 rebounds. Just the 9 points. A lot of times, I mean, Doobie probably didn't have 9 points in the exhibition game last year. Yeah. Or even like Jordy. Sometimes those smaller guys just steal the ball away every time, and just to see that he actually has the skills on offense to at least, I mean, because we want him for defense, even if he's not going to be the greatest defender, he's at least tall and we might need him there.
Yeah.
So if he can't be he can be at least not terrible on offense, that he can probably be helpful to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see anything else? I guess Amir Harris, what did you think of him?
That was another person that I was actually like, because I know you had said a lot, you were super excited for him and thought he was going to be like our next big guy, and like I hadn't really seen any of his high school film or anything, but he just looked like he looked comfortable out on the court. He looked like he could control the game when he had the ball, and when he didn't even have the ball, he looked great on defense. Like he could keep up with the speed and everything, so that was really encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, for my take on him, I don't know if it seems like we didn't have a great recruiting class necessarily compared to some of the other years, but we had at least Deshaun Burke for next year, but I think he's going to be the star of the class. I mean, there aren't too many other guys. But yeah, I see him as being pretty good, cracking the rotation quite often this year. Anybody else? Let's see. How did Glenn look? Do we think he's going to be coming back?
Yeah, I mean, he went 4 for 8. He shot a lot of threes he went 4 for 8 from field goals, and he shot a bunch of threes, which,
yeah,
I mean, when he made them, it was like just normal, like, off the catch threes, but he was taking a bunch of like pull up threes and off the dribble, which I feel like he won't take in the like regular season, hopefully, unless when he's having those like super hot days when he's just kind of making everything. But I don't know. I mean, I was fine with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, overall on the night, it was not a good 3-point shooting night. Yeah. I
heard
12% that was kind of the
takeaway
from the board, obviously. They were 4 for 26 overall. So Glenn's 25% was actually like quite a bit better than average.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the worst part about it.
I even wondered, I don't know, maybe they don't do this, but I even wondered if they like practiced before the game, kind of like the scrimmage.
Yeah, they did look kind of like slow or tired, but I don't know if it's just because they're not playing with like the starters aren't playing together, they're playing with a bunch of different people, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to the NBA.
Probably. So yeah, unless you have anybody else, we could move on from there.
Thomas Allen looked a lot better than last year, but that was kind of expected, I guess. I don't know. But I feel like he'll be at a point where he's definitely playable and benefiting the team instead of hurting the team.
Okay, so let's do... You haven't made a HTCC prediction yet, right?
No.
So I guess you can make one right now. So I haven't done too much research, but we want to kind of make this a like segment. So there's a game on the Husker Hoops board if anybody wants to get on and play. You can even start after the first game of the season, but you predict the score of the game and you get points based on like how far apart it is from the actual score and who won and who didn't. The score, I think it's 2 points for every difference in the score differential, and then 1 point for every point off that you are on the teams individually, and then maybe 10 or 20 points for predicting the winner wrong, and it like adds up, so you want to have like a lower score. So we thought we'd make that a segment where we're going to talk about the other team and say why we're predicting it, and hopefully help you guys a little bit in your predictions. So let's see. I need to pull up my prediction. Let's pause this. Okay, so I pulled up my predictions. I predicted that Nebraska would win 81-64 against Mississippi Valley State University. Now, the reason for this differential of, 17 points, maybe I should have made it a little higher. This team is projected in KenPom as one of the worst teams out there. They have played 2 games. I think they actually had an upset in their first game. I don't know how good the team they were playing, but they won like 87-85, so that was a higher scoring game. And the other one was lower. I think it was 77-75. Not 100% sure on that. But that was to like a D2 team. So Jake was saying, are they better than the team in the exhibition? They probably are, but not necessarily way better. So I'd go for a pretty big win on that one. What are you thinking, Jake?
Yeah, my score is 84-61.
Yeah. So then we also, for this round, we're predicting the number of non-conference wins and total wins that we will get in the season. So we have, 11 non-conference games this season. What are some of the big ones on there, Jake? The ones that we could, hopefully, the only ones that we can potentially lose.
Seton Hall, Clemson, Creighton, and I think that's it.
So, yeah, and then add in either Texas Tech or, we play Oklahoma State in South Dakota. And then there's either Texas Tech or somebody else in the second game of the tournament that we're playing in. So within those 11 games, I see us winning 9. I think, that's like 4 difficult games. I think we can get 2 of them, and that would set us up pretty well. I was kind of confused at why there were so few games, but we looked and there are actually 20 conference games this season, which will hopefully help us out. Hopefully our conference will be a little better and will help us out, but that's just a lot. They are keeping the same schedule with the 2 games in December and then going back to non-conference, but they're just not moving the tournament up a week. So it won't crowd our schedule because we still have the same amount of games, just more conference games. And then I said that we would have 22 wins overall. I think last year we had 21, right? Hopefully this year we're a little better. We do have to play those 2 extra conference games, and we're playing a hard schedule this year. But then also hopefully we can get a win in the Big Ten tournament and hopefully in the NCAA tournament. So that should get us to maybe around that area. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 8 in the non-conference because we always do terrible in tournaments. And 20 in 20 overall.
Last year we went 2-1 in our tournament. We just beat, who was it? The worst team ever. But yeah, to end that off, Mississippi Valley State's looking like a pretty bad team. Go for some big margins there. Hopefully we'll do a little more research on specific players than other times, but we're trying to fit this in. So let's get on to some other stuff. So we're going to do similar to the questions that we asked the band members that we interviewed, if you were crazy enough to listen to that podcast. So if the rankings went up to 351, where would the Huskers finish this season, Jake? What are you saying?
Hopefully top 25. I'll go with 22.
22.
22nd.
For reference, I mean, we've been all over the board. I think we're kind of 25th to 30th range in a lot of places. I know KenPom has us at 38. I think I would put us at maybe more 32, just because I'm not sure. But, I mean, we should be really good.
Okay, yeah, I guess I hoped 22nd, but that wouldn't really make sense with my predictions for the amount of wins we'll get this season, I guess.
True.
So I was going realistic earlier, now I'm going optimistic.
When it's for the challenge, you go realistic.
Yeah, I know. When something's on the line, then I'm a realistic standpoint. But yeah. So I guess if I'm going that way, I'll go 30 something, low 30s, I guess.
So where would you put Nebraska in the Big Ten? We might have to reevaluate this when we actually see the
What did
Big
we finish
Ten.
last year?
We finished well, I mean, we finished fourth